What kind of reaction do you get?
Yeah. For the first month or half a year, first time I came here, especially because Weihai is also kind of a small city. So when I came here, I had this feeling of a kind of, I'm gonna exaggerate, but kind of a rock star or something like that.
A rock star.
I was walking on this work, the things I know are more valued here than in my country. Like, let's say, for example, my abilities as a teacher, my experience as a teacher is way more valued here than it is in Mexico. Yeah, first came from that to Weihai, a place where you can. I used to leave my bicycle downstairs and nobody takes it, nobody steals it.
That's one thing about China. What is one thing that's different from Mexico, where you come from, and China?
The safety, the crime. I heard a lot of people talking and complaining about China and saying things that they really don't understand.
Right.
Things like, when you live here, you understand that they really trust their government, they really understand, and they have the same vision. And it's not the same.
Welcome you to China.
All right, thank you. All right. Hi, welcome back again to King Kwesi. I'm back with another episode of Living in China series. I know I've not been posting a video on this channel for over a month now because one, China is still holding on to COVID and there has been cases happening around the cities of China. So it's quite difficult to travel because you don't know where you're going to be locked up somewhere. I'm back again with a brother here, a family man who has been living in China for some time to share his experiences. I met him a couple of weeks ago on a street food joint and I'm like, bro, I need you and a family on my channel to share your experiences. So thank you so much for honoring my invitation to be part of this series.
Thank you for the invitation.
Can you please tell us your name, where you're from?
Okay, yeah, my name is Salatiel. I'm from Mexico, and yeah, I came here with all my family. We're 5 in total.
5 in total?
Yeah, my wife and three kids.
So you came here with your wife and your children to China?
Yes.
Like, are you a family of 5?
Yes, family of 5.
Did you all move from Mexico to China?
Yeah, we moved all together, but when we came here, we were just 4.
4.
I have my wife and two boys. So we came here like 5 years ago, around 5 years, and we were 4 when we came. So while we were here, we became 5.
So he came to China with a wife and 2 boys, and now you're a family of 5.
Yeah.
Family of 5 is not difficult managing or having a family of 5 in a country like China?
Well, that's interesting. There's a lot of things about China, and specifically about Weihai. Weihai is a very, very safe place. So, let's talk in terms of money in moving around the city. So, about moving around the city, being a family of 5, I find it to be very easy here. Like public transportation, safety. I'm not afraid that my kids need to take a taxi or a Didi, things like that. Although now that we are 5, taxis they're not taking.
Okay.
Don't take us. They can just
Take 4.
Yeah, just take 4 so we need to split. That is different. For example, in Mexico, where I used to live, it was kind of a bigger city, and it was a mess. Even just being 4, right? We used to have car back there in Mexico, but I found it better here in Weihai.
You find it better here in Weihai?
Yeah, in terms of mobility or for example parks or places to go with my family. I like it here. Economically, well, my situation is very different.
How is the situation different?
When I was in Mexico, I was working. I had basically 2 jobs.
Okay.
And also my wife was working.
Right.
With, let's say, with those 3 jobs, we were making maybe less than half of that we were making here.
Okay.
And it was like working a whole day. And I remember we used to put our boys in daycare because we didn't have a time. We had to work, and so from there it's different. With less amount of time working, we get more money.
How old were your children when you moved to China?
Okay, let me make numbers. My older boy was in grade 5,
Okay.
so he was around 10 years, and my younger, well, now he's in the middle, boy, he was in grade 2, so he was around like 7, around 7 years old. Yeah.
So when you moved them to China from Mexico is a different country from China in terms of the culture, the language, the people. How were they able to survive? Did you put them in a Chinese school? Did you put them in an international school? How was it like?
Okay, when we came here, we came directly to an international school.
Okay.
Which is where I work.
Okay.
Right. So we were offered the opportunity. They said, if you move here, your boys can study here. School is everything in English. And when first my wife and I we were thinking about putting them into a Chinese school because we wanted them to learn the language.
Right.
But we were told, I never really did research about it, but we were told by the school management that no, they said if you're a foreigner,
you can't go to a normal
school
Chinese
if
school.
there is an international school in the city. So that was a no. But they're taking Chinese classes obviously at school. It's part of their curriculum. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah, I also learned because I had a daughter here. I was told that if you're a foreigner, your kids cannot go to the normal Chinese school. You can only put your children in a private school or an international school. That is right. What is the cost of living as compared to your country, Mexico?
Yeah.
Family of 5. What is the cost of living?
Okay.
Is it too expensive?
I don't think it's too expensive. I think it's cheaper than Mexico. At least cheaper than the city where I used to live in
Cheaper than the city where you used to live in Mexico?
Yeah.
To have a family of 5 in China?
Yeah. Because I came from a city in the north of Mexico, really close to the border with the United States. It's called Monterrey, and that's a very expensive city.
Okay.
Actually, it has one of the areas with more. What's the word?
Refugees?
No. The highest cost of living in all Latin America.
Oh, okay.
It's a place there. Very, very rich people live there. So the city where I came from is very expensive in Mexico. So when we moved here, I mean, here's way cheaper.
Right. Have you been able to go back to your home country since you moved to China?
Oh yes, once in 5 or 6 years.
Once in 5 or 6 years.
And that happened during the COVID outbreak. We had our first vacation and a whole month, so we went to Mexico. Actually, we spent like half a week in Shanghai because we wanted to know the city, and then we moved. We arrived in Mexico. I remember the next day we arrived, we went to my wife's family, and an uncle, he asked me, hey, how's the situation about the virus? I said, well, what are you talking about? I don't know. I'm from there. It's all about news. And
Oh, okay.
about a big COVID outbreak in 2019, 2020. It was the end of January, February.
Maybe around the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
We're talking about COVID. How has the COVID affected you and your family? Because we all know that most countries around the world have really moved on from COVID.
Yeah.
They have put policies in place that people can go about their duties. But you know, in China is still holding on to the COVID, and there are still strict measures around China. Traveling within China is also very, very difficult now because you have to show COVID, your COVID test results, your health code, and all that.
Yes.
How has COVID affected your family in China?
Okay. Obviously, it's not an easy situation, but me personally, I don't find it particularly very terrible.
Okay.
I've seen other people talk about it and that like they're really going through a hard time, but and I respect that. But personally, for me, it was never like that. I remember the last lockdown we had here in Weihai. When was it? Like March.
Yeah, March.
This year. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember. And I remember that time. The first days I was really stressed. I don't speak Chinese, and that's a big problem. I mean, and it's my fault. I never sat down and studied Chinese. So I remember all these ideas came to my mind, like how am I going to buy food for my family? How am I going to arrange groceries and stuff like that? And I remember the first 3 days I was very stressed. I barely slept, but I don't know. I think that there's always a way. That's something that's always in my mind. There's always a way. And yeah, so the community just organized a big chat group, a WeChat group, and we were able to order everything we needed through there. And all the neighbors were very, very supportive. Like they understood that we were a foreigner, and then some of them who spoke a little English, they sometimes communicate to me. And so that was during the last lockdown. Just recently, like month ago, we had to go to Beijing,
Right.
because we had to renew our passports. I
Same.
was super stressed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I remember we had flights, and then one day before, I received a message: your flight has been canceled. All right. I didn't know why, whatever. Okay, so I remember I rushed because I had my appointment at the embassy. So I rushed and I said, well, okay, I'm going to ask for a refund later. So I went to the train station, tried to buy some tickets, and they said, no. And I said, why do you want to buy me tickets? And then an officer from there, he had to come and tell me, like, right now there's restriction. People from Weihai cannot
Go to Beijing.
Oh my god. Okay. 1 week later, we were cleared to go, and I remember while in Beijing, we spent like 4 days. Every single morning, I was opening my. We have it's like a mini program. So you open it and it's asking you, have you been in this city,
Right.
And if you've been there, it means you need to go under lockdown. So I was every day in the morning opening it. I said, this is gonna be the day. I'm gonna stay stuck in Beijing, but didn't happen. So yeah, yes, that's how it is right now.
So are you in a way happy with the way COVID is being managed around cities of China? To be frank, I want to put you on the spot.
Yeah. I was at the beginning. Right now, I'm starting to get it. Like, come on, let's move on. Let's just, to be honest. But 2020, 2021, I think I was very happy with the ways
It was managed, right?
Yeah, it was managed. My whole family practically in Mexico, they got sick, COVID, and nobody got nobody passed away or anything, so we were able to recover easily. But I remember, friends telling me, like, this is spreading all over the place. People is not respecting, like, wearing masks, or they don't want to get vaccinated, things like that. So in China, it felt more organized.
Yeah.
The whole thing more organized. Now that you're putting me on the spot, I want to say this. I heard a lot of people talking and complaining about China and saying things that they really don't understand.
Right.
Things like, oh yeah, of course, because Chinese people are like government says I do, government says I do. It's like that, but it's not like that at the same time. When you live here, you understand that they really trust their government, they really understand, and they have the same vision. And it's not the same as whatever you say, I will follow. So I like it.
You like the system here. So for you as a family man, moving your family here to China over 5-6 years ago, do you think it was a wise decision to make?
I think it was. I remember talking to my wife and sharing this vision. Like, I was born and raised in Monterrey, in Mexico, and I said, I don't want to live my entire life here. The world is big, right? I want to move to another place. I'll go out of Mexico. I want to leave Mexico. And she agreed. She said, yeah, so let's find ways to do it. I remember I had another option at the beginning. I was working at my local university. I was working for a professor there. We're in a research department. I studied criminology back in Mexico, so we were doing writing things about crime and crime prevention. So I was doing my master's, and because I was working at the university, I had a chance to get a scholarship to do a PhD in another country. So that was my first like big opportunity that I saw. It wasn't that easy though, because the conditions will be very adverse. Like the scholarship will cover basically my PhD, small help for money and food, and I had a family of 4. So I talked to my wife, if we move, it's not gonna be easy. And I was looking to move to the UK. And I know the cost of living there is quite high.
Yeah.
So I told her like, well, we're gonna leave. We're going to survive. So I was talking to a professional, trying to get in touch with other professors to find a place to do my PhD. And during the process, I have this other couple from Mexico I talked about. They were here already, and they told me, they gave me the chance, the opportunity. They said there's an opportunity for you to come, and they were talking to the administration of the school. And they say, all right, they wanna check you, they wanna make an interview with you, and this is what you're going to do, and your kids can come to school. So both things were going on at the same time. So we decided to try both and see what happened. When finally we were asked to request the work permit and everything, and it was granted by the Chinese government. So at the time, we decided, you know what, we're going for a more stable thing, a better situation. So I decided to drop down the the other option and came here. And yes, I think it was a good call. Although sometimes I regret a little bit, because it took me a little bit away from what my career was. I had to sacrifice some things. Yeah, it was like that.
So ideally, what was your career? And what are you doing now?
Well, right now I'm a teacher, a primary teacher.
What, English?
I'm teaching English, also teaching math. I also have a debate class, and I used to have also science, like when I first came. Basic science, I'm talking about primary, grade 4, and that's what I do here. When I was in Mexico, well, I had 2 jobs. I was working at a public school, teaching English, but that was like the one that I needed to have a better, yeah. And my real passion, I was working at the university. I was teaching School of Law, and I was working with this professor. We were writing articles. We even have one book that we work with. We publish in my city, Monterrey.
So basically, you've been teaching all your life.
Yeah, yeah. Although when I work at the university teaching, it felt good, but my main passion was the research department.
Right. So if I have to ask you this, what is one thing that's different from Mexico, where you come from, and China?
One thing that is different from Mexico, anything specific, or well, the safety, the crime. You know, Mexico. We were living there when this big cartel war happened in the 2016. I think it was horrible. I remember I used to take public transportation. I remember one day that I was coming from work. It was like 11 p.m. and the bus in front of us, the street was kind of empty, and there was a truck in front of us, and then suddenly another car came rushing. They blocked the way, and 2 guys with long weapons, they came out of the car. They took the truck's driver, they took him away. So it was a kingdom right in front of us, and we were all like, don't do nothing, don't look. It was a kind of situation we were living. Right now it's not like that. It's getting better, but we first came from that to Weihai, a place where you can I used to leave my bicycle downstairs and nobody takes it, nobody steals it. I mean,
That's one thing about China. That we say this all the time and people don't believe. We are not saying China is heaven. We are not saying China is full of angels. But guys, you only experience this when you come to China yourself. Yeah, you only experience these kind of things when you come to China yourself. Because when we say some of these things on camera, people might think that we have been paid to say some of these things. But yeah, China is that safe. What is one thing that you wish you knew about life in China before coming here with a family?
Oh, that's a hard question. I don't know. Well, I regret a lot. I personally regret a lot not speaking the language.
Okay.
But I think that's an obvious one, right? If you move to another place, and if they speak a different language, it's very important for you to learn.
Survive.
So that's one of that's an issue. Although I'm surviving. I mean, I can go to
The supermarket.
the supermarket and do everything.
Show you the idea.
Yeah. So what? Another thing. About well, okay. In my city, in Monterrey, Mexico, we live in you know, you have your house with your backyard, with your front yard, and here it's all about apartments.
Right.
And I find that it's not very easy to live like this because you have neighbors downstairs or neighbors upstairs, and then they go to bed really early here.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 9, 10 p.m. and it's like don't make any noise and complaints like that. That's difficult. I don't know what else. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, at the first time I thought, what kind of it is like a totally different world, like another planet. But once you're here, like we're all humans.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we do the same. We do the same. We're all humans.
I mean, the feeling about life in China outside is different when you get inside.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. What are you truly grateful for about life in China that you would never have in your country?
Okay. Well, I think my work, the things I know are more valued here than in my country. Like, let's say, for example, my abilities as a teacher, my experience as a teacher is way more valued here than it is in Mexico. Yeah. Now, people here are really into education. Like, they really like their children to get well educated, and they invest a lot of money on it. They take it very seriously, and that's a good thing. I like it because sometimes, like for example, in my country, in Mexico, well, not my country. I remember some students that I had in primary public schools, and it's like you go to school because that's what you're supposed to do, but that's it. No more extracurricular, no more the desire to grow, to learn. And that happens here. So I come here with this experience, and it's way more valued than in my country.
Yeah, your experiences, your abilities are more valued in China than your home country.
Yeah.
And that's right.
Yeah, sadly, because I think there's a lot of opportunities that we're missing back there in Mexico because we don't value some abilities, some professions, and well, that's the thing. That's how it is.
That's how it is. That's how it is. Have you tried some Chinese food?
Yeah.
What is the most outrageous, interesting Chinese food you ever tried?
I don't even know how it's called. They look like snails.
Snails?
Yeah, but I think they're like from the seafood. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. I remember dig dirt and find those snails, but I saw them here like in a dish, and I'm always like I'll go for it. I'll check how it is. And that one is like felt so weird, but it was okay. But yeah, I think that's the one. There's another one. Sometimes I see it in supermarkets, but I've never tried those. Maybe you know it. It's like a hard shell and it moves. It's like I thought it was like a like those silkworms or something like
Okay,
that.
you
But
can-
I have no idea.
You can find pictures of these things and send to me, and I'll put in the video.
Okay,
So people
okay.
will have an idea what you're talking about.
Because I have no idea. Okay.
You are a family of 5. Obviously, you live in this community, and you are totally different from the normal Chinese people.
Yes.
What kind of reaction do you get?
Yeah. For the first month or half a year, first time I came here, especially because Weihai is also kind of a small city. So when I came here, I had this feeling of a kind of, I'm gonna exaggerate, but kind of a rock star or something like that.
A rock star!
I was walking on the streets, and then people were just looking at me and can I take a picture with you? And first time I was like, why? I understand. But then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy it. And yeah, they came and took pictures. That was the reaction. Or the other one is this typical reaction. I still have it. Like I'm just walking, and there's a random person on their bicycle, and they're just, instead of looking to the front, they're just looking at me like. I said like, hey dude, you're gonna have an accident. Like focus. Yeah, they stare at me. Actually, I think they're staring at us right now.
Right, your perceptions about China, has it changed over time since you moved here?
Yes, yeah. It changed. I think I mentioned it already. The first time I had the same ideas, like, oh, we're moving to China. Like, wow, we're going to another world.
Another world.
They talk a lot about the government and things like it's very strict, things like that. And then, okay, let's just. I mean, I wasn't that worried because I've never been a problematic person, like going into trouble with the police and things like that. So I said, nothing's gonna happen. I mean, just follow the rules, just follow the law. That's what you're supposed to do. We're gonna be fine. And then we came, and everything was like exotic, and I felt like this barrier in between, like because of the language, like I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're thinking about, and this communication problem made me feel a little bit like isolated. But then with the time, as I said, just try to understand. I mean, we're the same. You see people walking, enjoying the park, go to restaurants. Some of them even speak English, and they're very friendly. They're very friendly. So the thing with the government and stuff like that is not like that at all. It's like another place, like another country. So I found out
It's different.
Yeah. I think it is. It's now I feel more familiarized with the whole
system.
Yeah.
What one advice would you give to a family trying, because China is obviously trying to open up a bit, like loosening up the COVID regulations and laws. So people obviously be coming to China more now. What is one thing that they should know, or your advice to them before coming?
Okay. Especially for me, for example, let me think. If that's a hard question. An advice. Well, really, when you arrive, really try to learn Chinese. Try. I came here and I said later, and that later never came. And that will help you a lot. If you manage to speak a little bit of Chinese, the whole country is gonna be open for you. The whole country. What else? From my experience, that's what I struggle with language, and it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
So your children speak good Chinese?
Yeah.
They can.
They can. My older boy, he never wants to show
that. Oh, okay.
But we can see him, when Chinese people talk to him, he understands and he replies. He's kind of a little bit shy. The middle one, he's always talking, and yeah, he can go everywhere and he speaks Chinese quite good.
So your children can just go out alone?
Yeah. They actually do sometimes, yes.
Right. I want to say thank you so much for your time and talking to us. This is your experience, this is your journey in China, and I'm glad that you shared your journey with the world. And I hope that this video also helped to change some of the things that we all know about China. What is your last message to the world? Look in the camera and say something to the world.
Okay. What's my last message?
You did this alone.
Okay. So, I think right now we're living interesting times. Not even this thing what happened about COVID was really big for everyone. So we are kind of getting used to new things. So it is possible. It is possible to overcome all the difficulties. And we're doing good here. And we are optimistic that maybe by the end of this year, maybe things are going to change. So just just keep doing.
All right, keep going.
Going.
Yeah.